Jason's young daughters, like who young kids are going to blab about everything, they were told you can't tell. It literally they already call her Aunt Taylor. Can't call Auntie Taylor. You can't tell her. They all knew.
What a life, right?
Well, I commented on something else too, and I can't see it now because something weird. And maybe it's just on the computer version of Instagram. I don't know. There was a post about imagine being Kylie Kelce, who just randomly replied to a random football player on Tinder and blah, blah, blah. Now her sister-in-law is going to be Taylor Swift. I responded with, imagine being Taylor Swift, and you randomly replied to a random football player who just wanted to give you a friendship bracelet. And now you have the absolute coolest sister-in-law on the planet.
Is that how it all started?
What?
Like you just wanted to do a friendship bracelet?
He was, so he went to see her at Arrowhead or Jexa or whatever.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. And he was talking about how he's like, oh, I can just get in because I play here.
Yeah, but he had a friendship bracelet because that was her thing on the tour. Like everybody traded.
Yeah. What's with your talking today?
Huh?
What's with your talking today? The term friendship bracelet is just tripping you up hard.
I know I'm tired. Leave me alone. But it had, and the joke was the bracelet had his number on it, and Jason's like, your jersey number or your phone number? And he's just like, what do you think? But he never gave her the bracelet because they talked about it when she was on. She never got the bracelet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
So the sleuths figured it out with her hair.
Somebody posted it, and then you go and look at it, it's clear as day. You can see the imprints from the headphones. So she did not know it was coming. Now,
so that means where were they? They were this close to this special garden place.
Well, this is the thing. Here's more about it because people have now figured out, especially because of the interview. Well, some things that were said in the podcast, but also an interview with Jason's dad, or Jason and Travis's dad, about how all this came about, that they've apparently been living together for a while.
Uh-huh.
And in the Kansas City area, actually in Lee's Summit, which is kind of Kansas City-ish area. Really nice area, actually. And not just because of wealthy, but it's a beautiful area.
Wow.
Because Kansas City is actually really cool. I prefer, nothing against St. Louis. St. Louis is all right. I prefer Kansas City. It's a cool area. But they apparently have been living together for a while based on a lot of things. I mean, even she said in the podcast when she found out she got her master's back, she went in the room where he was playing video games. Like they were already together there.
Oh, yeah, that's true too.
But then I guess his dad had hinted at something along those lines too. But
I just pulled up Kelce proposed after podcast. The first thing that pops up is the thing about her hair.
Her hair, yeah.
Yeah, on there. It was like immediate.
I have no hair, so I don't leave any indentions. Yeah.
And
anyway, that is not where I thought we were going today, but I thought I'd.
Well, we did say we were going to talk about it. You know what's funny is even on the last episode, they didn't talk about it.
Well, no. Did you see the very beginning of it? Because by the time I told you it was going on, because it was a premiere, so it was like live essentially.
Yeah, I missed the beginning part. As soon as you sent it, I clicked on
it. Jason did his own intro because they recorded that episode on Monday. It came out on, when did I send it? Tuesday?
Oh, so they didn't have
it hadn't been out yet. It hadn't been out yet. So Jason
he hadn't done it yet, I guess, if he did it right after the podcast.
Well, yeah, he did. No, I'm saying this week's podcast, they recorded Monday. The Taylor podcast was, a couple weeks ago. And who knows when they actually recorded that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because Mondays, I guess, are the only, or at least this Monday was the only day Travis had off from training camp to record. And so Jason did a separate opening before they got into the show because they don't talk about it in the show. They talk about the podcast with Taylor. Yeah. They don't talk about the engagement because at that point on Monday it hadn't been announced yet, so they couldn't. But Jason did a separate thing at the very beginning where he and the crew they have that helps run the podcast were just like congratulations and this and that. Like it was actually really cool. It was I mean, those two are awesome. You and I were texting about it, man. I want our show to be new heights. I mean, it's just the coolest.
I think it's funny. I think Jason is a bigger fan of Taylor than Travis is because like the whole time Jason's just talking about he's like, oh, and this song and which one and blah blah blah.
You know why? And this is, I mean, I'm not gonna get into the sibling thing. You don't have one, and I'm not gonna get into mine. But just in general, I think he is because of what she does for him.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, she's made him the happiest guy, and they're so good together. So that, as a brother, would be like, yeah, I love her even more now because of what she's done for my little brother.
Yeah. That picture of them at Cincy is pretty funny, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I don't know if you saw, I don't know if you'd seen this. So their mom, Donna Kelce, let me see if I can pull it up while we're talking.
that was the other funny part. They're talking. Jason's like, or Travis is like, she doesn't watch every episode, and Jason's like, she watches every episode, just like she went to every game, or maybe it's the opposite way around. But it was just funny how they're just like, she doesn't watch them.
I got to figure out where this was because this was actually really cool too. So their mom updated her. Updated her. Here, yeah, I'll share this now. Now that we know how to do the share thing, because this is actually really
now that
sweet.
you know how to do the share thing.
That's fair. Yeah, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
This is her cover photo. These they're getting married. Yeah.
I have the not the paper, but like the little program they put out for the Florida Music Festival that I saw her perform at when she was like 13 years old. Like when I was living in Florida.
Here's a better look at it. There you go.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's their mom's like cover photo on Facebook now. Yeah, that's so cool.
I mean, she's obviously already the mom of two extremely successful people, and now you're adding Taylor Swift to the family.
Yeah, and I was listening to a show this morning because I obviously ever since this happened, it's the news. It's the NFL news until Jerry Jones tried to trump it today, but I don't think you're ever, no matter what Jerry did even today, which is still shocking, I don't think you're ever going to trump, the Travis and Taylor thing. But I was listening to a show on Andy Cohen's radio station today on Sirius. It's the Smith sisters, I think. And they brought up a good point. Like in some of these scenarios, especially with like celebrity couples, or even if like one's not a real celebrity, but the other one really is, it's like, is that kind of a feeling out period of what does it mean to date a celebrity? They didn't need that.
Yeah.
She's the biggest celebrity on planet Earth. And he's, even before they were together, he was already, had made a name for himself in his own right.
Well, I mean, he's already won, one Super Bowl by the time?
He already won one prior, then they won one when they were first kind of together. And so there was no kind of feeling out process with the whole idea of what it meant to date another celebrity, especially if one's a $1 billion.
I think that's just kind of the other part of it is there's probably still meetings about like how Travis is very kind of laid back and wouldn't have a problem saying where he's going to be or what he's going to be doing. Where with her, you have to be a lot more careful.
To a point though, because again, she, for all the fame, all the money, all that stuff, I don't care what anybody says, man. She's still incredibly down to earth.
Oh, 100%. The guys I shoot
like
caps games with that shoot like the football teams here when she was in town.
Yeah.
Like said that she was nothing less than cordial, like getting through obviously with the way security escorting her around and stuff like that, especially the photographer scramble. And you remember what it's like, especially being in Dallas with all the celebrities. But I guess over the radio, everyone heard it. Like Taylor Swift is in the building. Yeah. And then it was the photographer scramble too. She's got to come down through the tunnels first to get to these special elevators. And just she's a football fan when she's there. She's not like Taylor Swift, the megastar. She's there to support her man. Yeah.
No, it was cool because, and someone else brought up the good point with regards to kind of her personality and being that down to earth is the fact that she not only has found this guy who's an Ohio guy who now lives in Kansas City, like total Midwest center of the country. As great as much as I really do like Kansas City. It's not LA, it's not New York, it's not Chicago, it's not any of that. It's like the perfect setting for both of them. It couldn't be any more ideal.
Just think of the place they're gonna have. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna get a new one eventually. if they were
Maybe.
living like with and she. I would assume she moved into his place because he was there for football.
Yeah, because I thought well, I don't know where she's been living. I think
She's living in Nashville.
she in Nashville. I thought at one point, maybe this is when she was dating one of the other musicians or actors. She had a place in LA or something.
I mean,
don't know
I'm
if
sure
she was
she's
ever
got some.
I don't know if she was ever in New York or anything like that. Someone said something earlier today about Rhode Island. I don't know the connection there because she's a Pennsylvania girl, which is why her and Kylie have really connected. Because her dad's a huge Eagles fan too.
What's funny is Pennsylvania's had two like kind of just pop out of nowhere megastars, but Christina Aguilera is from Pittsburgh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I don't know where in Pennsylvania Taylor Swift is from, but like it's just Pennsylvania is not a place you think of where you think of like entertainment talent coming out of.
No, and I think you and I, not on here, but we've talked, like in my time with the Cowboys, I got to go with the team to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's a freaking really cool town.
You know what's funny is I always made fun of Pittsburgh.
I actually fell in love with Pittsburgh when I was there.
So, like, obviously when I was married, my ex-wife was from Pittsburgh, so we'd go there a bunch. And, like, I actually got a lot of cool videos and drone stuff there, especially downtown with the incline and like their downtown area and their sports area is really cool. And we both said it. PNC is one of our favorite baseball parks.
Dude, that whole setup. So I got to go to the football field right next door to PNC.
Yep.
And when you're looking out over downtown across the freaking Three Rivers.
Yep, because you have Fort Duquesne right out in the point there.
Dude, it's unbelievable. And I wish more cities would, I really, really wish more cities would do this. The only major market or any market city where all the sports teams wear the same colors.
Yeah. Yep.
I love that, actually.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny is I don't know if you know the story. The Penguins got sued by the Bruins a long time ago, like when they first came in, because they wanted to go black and yellow like everybody else in Pittsburgh, and the Bruins sued them, so they couldn't do it because they were black and yellow. Which is funny because you have the Rangers and Canadians that are red, white, and blue.
They're almost identical in many ways.
Yeah, like especially with the arm stripes and stuff like that. I mean, I guess the Canadians blue is a little bit lighter, but still, it's just back then. But that's typical Boston, right? Boston just trying to bully.
Well, speaking of Bruins, how about that thing I sent you earlier with Scott Thornton?
Yeah,
what the hell is that about?
I don't know. I don't know what he's been doing.
I'm going to interrupt because we've gone from Taylor and Travis now into Scott Thornton. Like these segues are amazing.
Welcome to All Angles Podcast, everybody. By the way,
hello. We're not live again. We gotta, yeah.
When I got scared and I left without a warning, I'm so freaking sorry that I didn't stay. Didn't mean to run and throw it all away. Brain wishing, hoping that it's not too late.
Yeah, thank you. Please like and subscribe. Thanks everybody who hung out when we were live on Sunday for our Tuesday episode. We've just we got a week. We got some things to talk about, more things to talk about. I'm gonna have to put this in the beginning so that sentence will make more sense later. But there's just like it went from kind of a minimal week. Like our joke was like today was gonna be about Travis and Taylor. And listen, Cookie and I have both said this. We talk about how we're huge Swifties and no shame, but at the same time, we don't know why anybody actually hates her other than just a jealousy or bitterness standpoint. Like there's never been a thing about her not being nice to people. I'm sure there's going to be somebody in the weeds going, "Oh, I met her and blah 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 blah," but she got famous and pissed at her because she had relationships that didn't work. Yeah. And that's where kind of things started. And now she's with somebody. And let me tell you, she takes it in stride and makes a joke out of it. And it's awesome. And the Kelces are just such bros.
Yeah.
And it's hard to not talk about it.
That's the best definition of they're just dudes.
They're just dudes. And like, I mean, the story of how Jason met his wife, he was passed out drunk at the bar on their first date.
Oh, well, when Taylor's post about the proposal, it was funny as shit.
Mm-hmm.
When your gym teacher is marrying the English teacher, that's perfect.
Everything she says is viral, man, and it's just like I think it's funny. I think I like her more because of how many people aimlessly and senselessly don't like her. I was even at my other job today at the gym. I was talking to somebody about it. She's like, her, blah, blah, blah. And I said, tell me why.
Yeah.
And they got nothing.
Just give me one. I don't need multiple. Give me one.
You don't have to like her music. Like I'm not even a country fan, much less a pop country fan or
She's
pop music fan.
Anymore. She started there. She's not even close to that anymore. It's all pop.
Like Morgan Wallen started his career in leather pants before he went on American Idol. But anyway, hey, you know what? If he sees this, cool. Like, thanks for watching, Morgan Wallen. I don't give a damn. But I ask people, I'm like, why don't you like her? And nobody has any real answer. No. I said this before. I think I said it on another episode before, where she pulled the biggest punk rock move in the history of music when they're like, you can't have your songs. And she's like, fine, I'll re-record them.
Re-record them.
And to the point where it bullied them to have to sell them back to her.
I mentioned this. I mentioned the Graham Norton show during our live because of the cricket, the funny cricket thing. And she's been on Graham Norton many times. If you haven't watched the Graham Norton show, just go watch it. Dude, it's the best talk show out there. And I love a handful of the American ones, not all of them. But Graham Norton is over in England, does it right. And she's been on there many times. And she was on there right after she re-recorded all these. And one of the other guests on there was Bono at the same time. And so they're sitting there talking about this, and then Bono kind of interjected going, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. That's Bono, man.
I know. Another, like, again, I can't stand you too, but
Really?
That's a legend. I don't like him. That's a legend.
That surprises me actually a little bit. I know it's not like your perfect style, but I thought you would have.
I think it's like I don't not like them. I just don't like them. Like I never really got into them even back then.
Love them. Like my thing growing up was, dude, it was U2. It was Pink Floyd. Got into Grateful Dead.
Never liked Floyd or the Dead.
Oh my god.
However, my college, you would have thought my college was sponsored by Dave Matthews, The Dead, and Fish.
Oh, upstate, yeah. I mean, I already kind of liked
North Country.
Exactly. I already kind of liked the Dead a little bit. And then I got to Northwood, and it was just a whole other level. You know, it was the Dead, it was Fish, it was, you know, you name it.
You think you know weed. You don't know weed until you know people that like
no, I don't
weed.
smoke at all. I never did.
No.
When the couple of Dead shows I got to go to, my friends knew I didn't and knew I didn't do anything. And would warn me when people were walking around with stuff going, you might want to just go over there for a little bit while we deal with this. I'm like, all right.
While we deal with this. Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, did you know? No, one of the things that used to happen at Dead shows and people that went to Dead shows back in the day, and this was when Jerry was still alive. There were people that would walk around with squirt guns, just like water guns.
Uh-huh.
And the water was mixed with acid. And they would come around and squirt you. And it would just go into your skin and mess you up. And like I said, my friends knew I didn't do any drugs. Never have, never will. And so they were cool enough. They knew I didn't want to. They would warn me when it was coming and be like, yeah, you might want to just kind of disappear for a little bit.
That's good. As a person who also didn't do anything like that, like I was the guy who basically had to talk to the cops and get my friends out of trouble. Like when I was in the band, like I was the one who didn't do it, you know, especially the last band I was in and like they would party and I was basically like reserves. I'm like, yeah, you know, I understand. And like, so like those nights where I knew it was going to be real bad, I didn't even like drink those nights. I was like, I need to be on security here.
Yeah, when
I worked, thank God, I probably saved my guys from getting arrested a couple times.
Yeah, when I worked for some bands as a photographer and did some kind of merchandise stuff work for them too, I was always, you know, we'd go on the road trips around. But I would always be the one having to drive us back to Dallas after the show because they're all on stage doing Jaeger bombs and drinking beers. And
we used to do that with that liquid ice drink that we've all come to know. It's been in my life for so long. Yeah. I thought it was funny when Connor even asked about that when we had him on. But I remember one night we had that. I was driving, so I didn't drink it all. We used to do Jaeger bombs with that, and I was driving. The night we did a promo for them when they first gave us a sponsorship, I drank so many of them one night. This is before you knew about how bad energy drinks were and all this other kind of stuff. And on the way home, I'm driving. Like, we played in our town. We were just going back to our storage space where we kept our gear. Yeah. And I pulled over, and I just started throwing up so bad. And they're like, John, I thought you didn't drink tonight. They're all getting pissed. It's completely blue like the drink is. And I'm like, I haven't. This is all the energy drink. And it's just coming out just straight blue water coming out of me. I just drank way too much of them. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah.
When nobody told me not to drink so many. I had like 6 of them that night.
Yeah. No, that's funny.
Yeah, we used to put those bad boys down. So, but all right, so I think we got our gushing over the Taylor and Travis thing. Honestly, I just think it's really cool, and
I do too.
you just know it's not going to be one of these things that's going to blow up at some point.
And I will say this, just to kind of wrap it up, because I think we were talking about this before we started recording, and I'm not the one that discovered this, and you can Google it or search it on Twitter or wherever real quick, and it pops. I didn't realize how quick it popped up, but within literally minutes of the announcement the other day, this showed up, and I thought it was cool. For any doubters out there, she clearly did not know this was coming, at least not on that particular day. So if you don't know, the proposal happened like almost within probably what I would say an hour or two.
A couple hours, yeah.
A couple hours after she was on the New Heights podcast with Travis and Jason. And the reason
it was recorded, obviously, because when it was recorded,
recorded
live.
And the reason I bring that up, and again, you can look this up too. It's all over the place. And the reason number one, it was done that day, and number two, she did not know it was coming because down to earth, if she's going to be any woman on the planet Earth, if she knows she's about to get proposed to, she's going to get her hair right. She's going to do all that. You can still see in her hair the imprints from the earphones she was wearing on the show.
And her hair's done the exact same way as it was.
Yeah, she's wearing a different outfit. Jason is as well. But you can still see the rings where the earphones were like holding her hair down.
Because that was like a 2 hour, 2 hours, 2.5 hours?
It was pretty long, yeah. It's pretty long.
When she was on, so I mean, that's going to leave. That's going to leave the imprint. So I'm sure they just thought they were going somewhere. I'm just curious where this place was.
I don't know either. I've only driven through Lee Summit. I've never had any obviously reason to get out of the car in Lee Summit, because if I'm going to Kansas City, it's to go watch a Monarchs hockey game or something like that. Or Mavericks, sorry.
Mavericks, yeah.
No, to go watch the Mavericks, which is a cool arena too. But anyways, yeah, back to sports.
I mean, it's still sports. It counts, dang it.
It does. It does. Yeah, right. Now I was talking about, getting drunk on bands, doesn't it?
Oh, yes, true. So the first thing you brought up, I didn't even know this happened until you told me about Micah Parsons getting dished away. Like, my first question is he worth that much money?
I believe so. So, by the way, as we're recording this, it's Thursday evening, my time, 6:45, John's time, 7:45. So this all happened. Actually, it happened and I think the reason I'm wearing all this is because John said he wanted to talk about this. I'm wearing my team stuff. I was on the ice at practice. I get back to the coach's room, and my phone is absolutely littered with stuff from my friends back in Texas, in particular my buddy, my best friend Brian, who sent me just a screen capture from something about the trade, and I'm like, is this really real? Because Jerry just doesn't.
I mean, I think it was like right at almost 6 o'clock my time.
No, it would have been before that, because we got off the ice at 4:30 my time, which would have been 5:30 your time.
The first article I saw, that's about when it came out, the full article on it. Anyways.
Yeah. And the only reason I was hesitant is because, and I'm not the biggest Jerry fan on the planet, but one thing he is loyal. Although, again, there's going to be a lot that comes out eventually. He's loyal to those kind of guys like Micah. He was always loyal to guys like that. And the fact they couldn't work something out makes me really think there's more to this story, potentially from both sides. I think definitely from Micah's side, but potentially from both sides. No matter what,
it was a messy time trying to get that contract.
It was, and again, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. I haven't worked for the Cowboys in 20-something years, and while I still maintain friendships with guys we're there, we probably talk at most once a year. So it's not like I reach out to those guys right away and go, oh, what do you know? What do you know? Tell me. So I don't know what's really going on. I don't pay attention. I mean, my hockey season's starting, which we're going to get into in a bit. So I didn't. It was still a shocker. He was one of those guys, especially, again, no matter what I think of Jerry, he was always one of those guys you thought was a Cowboy for life. And not only did he trade him, and I didn't look at all the particulars, and even if I did, I wouldn't probably know who we got traded for. I'm sure there were draft picks involved and things like that, but I wouldn't probably know any names. But to trade him to, as the guy I mentioned many episodes ago that kind of took my spot, didn't replace me because he's way better than me, but he took my internship spot, Rob Phillips, when I was with the Cowboys. Rob tweeted, to think he's now going to one of the Cowboys' top 5 all-time rivals in the Green Bay Packers is pretty shocking too.
Yeah. I mean, that's a historic matchup.
Well, and they play September 28th.
Yeah.
That
in Dallas?
I don't know where it is. I can look while we're talking, but that has all the makings of just an absolutely epic matchup now. I mean, it's already a good one every time they play just because of the long-term rivalry. I mean, you go back to the Ice Bowl and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And now if I'm Googling Dallas Cowboys, it's going to be hard to find anything.
Well, I love Micah Parsons' tweet is like, "Thank you, Dallas, ... Go Pack, go."
Yeah, but he did more.
With
He
a
actually
with a letter.
The letter was really good. I read it before we started here. Looks like the game's in Dallas. That's actually even better. He's coming back to Dallas in Green Bay gear. It was a good letter he wrote. I thought he handled it well. I know it wasn't what he wanted, but I really appreciated the fact, again, take my bias aside about not being a fan of my home state. I respected the fact he was, even said in there, he goes, North Texas is my home. That's where I'm going to be in the off season. I'm not moving. My family's there. That's where we are.
Is that where he's from?
No, not at all. Here's the ironic part. He's actually from out kind of near Philly, and all his friends growing up were Eagles fans. He was the only one that was a Cowboys fan. So that goes kind of to the story too. Like, he was a Cowboys fan that grew up in Philly territory, Eagles territory.
Yeah.
And so it was always kind of meant to be. He went to Penn State, wore the blue and white there. Went to the Cowboys, wore the blue, silver, white, whatever you want to call it. And he mentioned that in his letters. Like, this was always, the dream of his to wear the star. And it just, again, eventually, as it always does, and as I texted you and I texted my buddy Brian, I said, man, Hard Knocks really wishes they were in Dallas right now.
Wasn't it last year they had their thing?
They did it the first time Hard Knocks ever existed. I was still working for them, and it was training camp in San Antonio, and the Hard Knocks crew was there. I think that was when Hard Knocks first started. So I was surrounded, and I actually had a couple of background cameos in that year. But this would be the year they'd want to be down there with all this going on. So I don't know. We'll see. I think there were.
He's from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I think Hard Knocks did Buffalo this year, maybe.
Or were they in Kansas City? Because Kansas City had a whole documentary going on too.
I think there's other versions now.
There's
I think
a lot of teams are doing a lot of their own things.
Their own, yeah, for sure.
Because like teams like digital teams now are unbelievable. Like I never thought, even when I first started covering professional sports as a photographer, I knew they were there, but I didn't really get it. And then working alongside of productions with the Caps,
so talented, man.
Oh man, because we have media day. The first day of training camp is media day. The guys aren't on the ice. It's headshots, and it's when they go station to station to do all their photos and other video stuff. They got to get in all their gear. It's a super long day for them, actually.
It's
with all
impressive.
the stuff that they're doing.
So like let me, again, while we're talking, I'm going to look this up.
Yeah. And then the mic'd up and how quick they get everything in is crazy.
Oh, it's unbelievable. My assistant coach when I was coaching HC Dallas AA.
Dang, he's only 4 years in Dallas too. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I mean, he was on his rookie contract. That was the whole thing.
That was the thing coming off of it, yeah.
That was the whole thing.
His rookie contract was 4 years?
I think all of them are 4 or 5, but a lot of them will, be able to not play out their rookie contracts. They'll renegotiate, year 2 or 3 or whatever. All right, I can't find it now. Anyways, so the sister of my assistant coach when I was with HC Dallas is a social media, genius. Frankly, she is now. I mean, she has a Super Bowl ring. because she worked for the Eagles last year.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She's got a couple other rings. So she has worked for the Colorado Rockies, Tampa Bay Rays. She's worked for a couple hockey teams. She's a big hockey. She played hockey growing up too.
Nice.
So she's, yeah, and just brilliant. And I'd love to actually, now that I think about it, I'd love to get her on sometime, because I've actually tried to get her with some interns I've used over the years. Because again, as I probably mentioned before, I do all the social media for our team, and I am what I am. I don't do the kind of video. Well, I shouldn't say that. I do the video stuff. I don't do like the TikTok style YouTube stuff and all that stuff that's big now. We actually had some people out at our practice today doing some of that stuff. Not that I can't do it. I just don't really know how to pull that off. But she's brilliant in all that. And because of the team she's been with, she has she was working for the Rockies, Colorado Rockies, when the All-Star game was there. She has a ring for that. I didn't even know that was a thing, by the way.
They give rings for the All-Star?
Yeah. I that was weird to me. But she posted that the other, which is cool for her. Although I will say, when I was still working for the Dallas Stars when they won the Cup in '99, and word got around that
that was a goal, Buffalo. That was a goal.
It was a goal. Word got around that employees were going to get rings too, and all the hockey guys that were instructors and all that were like, we don't want a ring.
When I worked for the Lightning, when I worked for the Lightning when they won in 2004.
Yeah.
Against Calgary, I was just on their fan development department. They went around asking everybody, and I was like, I am assistant. I assist in hockey camp, and I set up the human foosball thing before games out in the mezzanine here. I'm like, I don't think I should have a ring for anything.
I had literally nothing to do with them winning that cup.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. And there was a guy, and good for him. He was a sweetheart of a guy, but the guy that worked the front desk at the ice rink in Valley Ranch got a ring, and he wore it every day. And he was a sweetheart of a guy, so I didn't give him a hard time. But in my head, I'm going, come on, man.
I still would have.
Come on, man. I don't even wear the rings I have. I got rings back here behind me. I have a NJCAA World Series ring, three-peat ring from when I was at Richland College. I have my Aviators ring back there. I should have my Royals ring, but we've talked about that. And from the Minnesota League. Well, and then my class ring that wouldn't even fit on my pinky at this point.
I don't have any of those things anymore.
But I just don't. I used to wear the Aviators ring a bit, especially when I was recruiting, because I was pulling a Mike Stanaway, and if Mike's watching this, he'll actually laugh about it. I'm not ripping him. I am kind of, but he'll still laugh about it. So Stanaway was the guy, he would wear the ring. You know what? I'm going to grab it just so I can show. This is funny. But Stanaway had his Southern Oregon ring. He'd go on. Oh, my God, I'm getting fat. This barely fits me now. Oh, my God, this is scary. I hope I can get it off. He'd
Keep
go.
911 on hold.
Yeah, I didn't put it all the way on because it is a little tighter than I anticipated. He would go on a recruiting trip and find some stud, and he'd go, hey, Mike Stanaway, Marquette Royals, or whoever we were at the time, how'd you like to win one of these? While holding the kid's hand, he'd turn it over and go, you want to win one of these? Come play for me. So he'd show that off. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was the Stanaway. Yeah, Mike, if you're watching, you know that what you did. You know that.
It's funny. What can you say, though? Because he won with Southern Oregon, and then he won with Marquette, and then you won with New York, and I haven't checked.
He won last year, the year before with Connecticut Junior Rangers, I think.
Yeah, and he just went to that team. He was still with whoever down in New York for a while.
He went back to the Aviators. He went to Long Beach Sharks, which was our franchise with the Aviators. Yeah, our owner moved him to Long Beach, and then he went back to the Aviators and tore it up there. And then he went to Connecticut Junior Rangers. He's been there. This is his second or third year, and I think he might have won last year
because Doty's out with him. Doty's coaching one of his lower, I think, the elite team.
Why do you keep bringing that name up? You're doing that on purpose.
because of this moment. But speaking of that time, though, I mean, we heard today from Lane King.
Yes, Kinger.
We actually talked about him on a different episode, too.
did
We were
talk
talking
about
about guys with pro careers.
We did talk about Kinger not long ago. Yeah.
And so, but that was awesome. He's always just such a good guy, too.
Yeah.
So it was cool here, especially since I only had that half season with him, and then you were with him in Marquette.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was pretty cool to see. Those are the kind of things like, cause I wonder sometimes, like, if especially if you have a short period of time with some players, like, will they remember? So, but that was pretty cool to see him. But speaking of hockey, so we got the NHL season. We kick off. I say we like I'm an intricate part of it. But the NHL season kick, huh?
Where's your ring?
Yeah, Ovi's holding it for me.
I'll bet he is.
Yeah. So we kick off, I think, in the middle of September. Rookie camp starts. We do our rookie camp at the Naval Academy, which is pretty cool.
That's freaking cool.
Yeah, they do, like, they have their off-campus rink. Their field is off-campus as well, but like a couple years ago we got to do a tour. And I'm pretty sure the guy who's giving us our tour is like this Marine. The campus, you can definitely just kind of walk in a circle and see everything. And we were like, obviously we're there with the team. Everyone's told to wear dress shoes. It's the middle of summer, and he had us going crisscrossing. Like, I'm like, we were just at that building. Why can't we just go in order? He had us going everywhere. And I made the joke. We had Ivan Miroshnichenko was there. He was a rookie. I mean, I guess he's still technically a rookie with the amount of games he's played, but he's a Russian kid there, and he's hanging out with one of our other goalies, and he's sitting there with his phone, taking it all around. I go up to the Marine. I go, I'm like, is our Russian kid about to get spear tackled for getting all this video of the Naval Academy? He goes, nah, we knew everything we needed to know before he even set foot on campus. But the campus is gorgeous. Their gym is awesome. Everything's obviously like B Army plates on it. Like you see the word Army on the Navy Academy almost more than you see the word Navy.
But in front of it says beat.
Yeah, because it says beat in front of it. Same thing. I mean, it's the same thing up at West Point.
Yeah.
But
Navy.
yeah, but the funniest thing from that, first of all, the campus, like I said, it's unbelievable. It's right on the water.
All those military academy campuses are stunning.
So, well, especially the Naval Academy in West Point because they're so old.
Well, and Colorado Springs, just gorgeous.
Well, speaking of Colorado Springs, here's the funny part. So they're talking about the Army-Navy rivalry, and we're in the gym there, and someone says something. He goes, what about Air Force? And his response goes, fuck Air Force. Where's the tradition in that? Oh, we started in the 70s. We don't care. So it's just so funny how he just, like, jumped his ass about it. And but it was funny. But, yeah, I hope we get to do another tour this year. If not, I only ever go one day. Just like get one day of practice with them because I think they do like 4 days of rookie camp or something like that, or 4 or 5 days of rookie camp. Then we go right into training camp. And pretty much every guy at rookie camp goes into training camp as well.
My favorite part about rookie camp and training camp is finding YouTube videos to steal drills.
We have rookie camp is funny because we have the ECHL coaches and our AHL coaches there, and then our team equipment guys, but Carberry's not there. He's obviously getting ready for training camp, and then. Like I said, training camp first day is just headshots and media stuff, and the second day is the only time they're on the ice. Or the second day is the ice test, which they hate. Some of my best photos are on the ice test day because of these guys are just dying, and I guess they're pretty cool shots of it. But it's a little different for Cookie's thing. So obviously for Cookie, they have they have to do a lot of like recruiting, and a lot of this is recruiting on faith. Like you're talking to coaches, okay, we want this guy. You're looking at stats. Then you gotta get them to say, yeah, we're gonna come there. Then they gotta get into school. Yeah, like they have to apply and get accepted. And Drury's a good university, so they don't let just everybody in. No,
and we've run into that. Not this year, but last year, the year before last, we definitely ran into that. Yeah.
Did you have that big of a problem in Missouri State?
Not so much. Being a state, and Missouri State's a great school.
It's a good school too.
It's a good school, but being in a state school, there's a little bit more of a lenience, if you will.
Okay. So it's funny because like
a little more wiggle room.
Yeah, it's funny though because with state schools, there's more lenience as far as what your grades need to be. But with private schools, they can ultimately do what they want.
Yeah, and that, I mean, frankly, that was a bit of our argument last year. It wasn't even a player for our team; it was a player for our Division III team who would have been one of his best players.
Mm.
And that was kind of the argument. Number one, he had a family member who was a professor on campus, and his grades weren't the best, but they were pretty close. I mean, to me, they were close enough. And you've got his aunt, who's a longtime professor. I don't know if she's tenured, but she's a longtime professor on campus, and really cool. Huge hockey fan, and we're just saying, like, how can you? Again, I understand you want standards. I get that. I'll never argue that
For sure.
I mean, hell, let's put it this way. And I think I've told the story. When I went back to school after which was Missouri State, and I did tell the story, but I'll tell it again. So when I decided to join Jeremy again, not only just to coach with him again and be with one of my best friends, but also to go back to school, I applied to Missouri State. I didn't get in. I'm one of those that didn't get in because my Iowa State debacle and even my time when I went back to community college in Dallas, and not that was a hard school. That was Richland College, yeah, and that's what the basketball behind me is from Richland College. When they went to the national tournament 1 year, they went a few years when I was there, but 1 year I was able to steal a ball and have the guys sign it. But I was in Delhi, New York, by the way. New Delhi or Delhi, however you say it. It's not Delhi, it's Delhi. I found out.
It's just Delhi.
Yeah. It's actually a pretty cool little town.
Yeah, they have a SUNY school there. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's SUNY Delhi is where the national tournament was for NJCAA.
Oh, okay.
For a few years. But even at Richland College, like I said, I think I've told this story. I had no problem with the school. In fact, I loved it, but I was so addicted to being in the newsroom and working on the newspaper that I didn't go to class much. So my GPA kind of suffered there. And then I had University of Texas in Arlington, where I told the professor to go fuck himself. And he actually agreed with me. In fact, he ended up being a really cool guy, but that was a whole other story. So that being said, my grades going in to try and get into Missouri State weren't great, and my own fault. There's no getting around that. And so I didn't get in. So I had to start at the community college, which is literally next door to Drury and like a block or two away from Missouri State, Ozark Technical College, OTC. And so I had to go there for 2 semesters, semester and a half, 2 semesters. And by the time I got some stuff kind of sorted out, then I was at Missouri State. So, so again, just that goes back to it. Like, there is wiggle room, but not everybody's getting in, because my grades were not good enough for me to get in the first time. And then literally every single semester I was at Missouri State, which ended up being 3 years, I was Dean's List, straight A's, 4.0. There's only 1 year I wasn't 4.0. That's because of an asshole philosophy professor. He was an absolute prick.
He's a philosophy professor.
And this was my argument with him. He used to absolutely shred my papers, and I'm a good writer. I'm not gonna bullshit.
And you went up to him and went like, "Why?"
No, I never saw him. This was an online class. Because this was I started during COVID.
That's
so
right.
everything was online. And he used to shred my papers. And I finally had enough. I was like, dude, it's a philosophy class. Isn't this, what are you talking about? You're giving your opinion. I'm giving mine. Fuck you. What's the point of philosophy if it's not me expressing my philosophy on things? And you're telling me
if it's not open for translation and discussion.
You were literally, instead of just saying, well, maybe try this, you were literally saying, no, you're wrong. Well, no, it's philosophy. I'm not wrong. This is my thing. You can't tell me I'm wrong. And that was the only class at Missouri State I did not get an A in the whole time I was there.
Cookie's a nerd. That's awesome.
But it goes back to, I was so shit before I got to Missouri State. I had a 4.0 for 3 years at Missouri State, with the exception of the one class. I did not graduate with honors because the overall GPA it never got
affected
to that
by
point.
one.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, but that's still awesome, man. I definitely commend you, because going back is not easy.
My degree's sitting right down here. But again, that was a long story short to say, or long story long to say, yes, Drury doesn't have as much wiggle room. A private school, yes, they can do what they want, which means they can say, screw you, man. You know, we have standards. And I appreciate that. And frankly, we like it because we didn't, I don't know why. I think it was because a lot of the transition going on. We never got our full team grades from the spring. A lot of other teams did, but not as many. For something weird was going on.
Mhm.
I know it wasn't an issue for us, but I will say in the fall, we had 19 guys on the dean's list. We were the highest of any team on campus.
That's pretty good. I mean, that's good. 'Cause that's hardworking guys there, and when you get guys getting good grades like that, you get to worry less about what's happening.
Well, and a majority of our team were freshmen and sophomores, and that's all the core courses, which are the ones you don't want to take. They're the frustrating ones. They're the pain in the ass ones. The tedious ones. You're not doing what you're there to do from your degree, which gets you invigorated. It's the shit you got to plow through to get there, and they still pulled that off.
Well, that's 100% right, and that's a hard part nobody talks about when you're going from high school to college. High school, it's like you got to do well now. I know you don't want to take any of these classes, but you'll get to college, you can take whatever you want. Then you get there, and you got to spend 2 years taking core classes that you also still don't want to take, which are just harder versions of the crap you did in high school.
But at the same time, and I will argue this till I'm blue in the face, and guys, when they get to college, and I don't know if you had the same experience. I know I did. I think you might have. And I say this in our preseason meetings, and the guys by the end of their first or second year will agree. That's true. That's harder just because you're going up a level. I mean, it's obvious. But to me, college is easier than high school overall.
Which part? Because when I think
There's a couple reasons. Well,
when you go back, if you go back as an adult, the easier part about it is you're much more like when you make the decision to go back as an adult, the determination is there.
I get that, but even when I was a donkey at Iowa State or when I went back to Richland College or whatever, I still understood it was easier for a couple reasons. Number one, you're not there from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. First of all,
and if you are, there's probably a good break in there somewhere.
Yeah, but second of all, if you're doing it right, which I know for young kids is hard to do. Number one, your professors, generally speaking, in high school, I don't know that it's the same. At Northwood, it was this, which is good. But public schools, it depends on where you are. I'm not going to throw everybody on the bus because I have a lot of friends with teachers, and I'm sure you do too. But definitely in college, generally speaking, I would argue 90%, if not higher, they are not there to fail you.
No, definitely not.
So just attend class, do the work, talk. I know you're looking. I hit the freaking microphone. Shut up.
I didn't even notice it that time.
Oh, damn it. But attend class. That number one right there, you're going to pass. You attend class, you're passing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not to mention, like, they're again, nothing against the high school teachers. They're also better teachers at that level for a lot of times. And they're a little bit, I mean, I felt a lot of my professors were better teachers. And like, if I was struggling, because there's a lot of stuff I was struggling in, because I mean, it's just, I was never a good, like I was in high school, I was never a great student. I was like a C student, and that was me working my ass off.
Yeah.
And so when I got there, like you said, they would communicate and talk to you. And once they get to know you a little bit, they're like, okay, this is how I have to teach this person.
But also, the hardest part for a lot of the younger students, freshmen, and this is where I think we get it back to the sports side, where hockey players have a slight advantage because they're coming in as 21-year-olds. They have a little bit more maturity, although they don't always show it, let's be honest. But they have a little bit more maturity. I know you wanted to say something there.
I was thinking it.
But where I was going with this is the one thing is, and it was easier for me, admittedly, as an adult, even though I knew this going in, but this is just not me in general, unless I'm in front of a camera, apparently, where I'm more of a talker, is even in class, it's not just out of class, in class, get into debates. Like, professors love that. Like, have these conversations, depending on the class. I mean, you're not going to debate in algebra, but you get into some of these classes.
I was too busy crying in algebra.
Same. But you get into these conversations with these guys and just talk, and you can take whatever lesson plan they had going in, and you can get into these conversations. And this is the great high school. They have to teach this, especially where I came from in Texas. Like, you're teaching to this test. We talked about that. With
who was it we were talking about that with?
Oh, Manifest Destiny.
God damn it, Nicole.
It was Nicole. I just remember that. But no, and that was one of the issues in Texas. But and this is where I was grateful at Northwood. We didn't have that, and then that's why Northwood
Which
was
is
such
funny
a
in because in New York State we have what's called. Sorry to
but
cut
it's a
you off.
private school.
Oh, that's right. Because we have the CAT test we have to take in New York State. In New York State, a lot of our
We didn't
schools.
have to.
My high school was is always like ranked in the top 100 high schools. It's like a really good high school, which I didn't realize until long after I left there, when I realized how much I had learned, even when I wasn't liking it. We had to take a CAT test, which was standardized in New York State, and I think California does the same one. And we also have programs called regents and non-regents, and then it's like special education, non-regents, regents, which is like non-regents is a little below the standard speed, regents is a bit above the standard speed, and then you have
That
AP.
was non-regents for you.
For math and science, it was still pretty hard. I was non-regents, math and science, and regents, everything else.
No, Texas, and I've got friends that are teachers in Texas, and the only one I have that doesn't give a shit about it is because she's a science teacher and she doesn't have to deal with it. And it's she's not actually, now she's a principal somewhere. So, but it's in Texas, they're having to. They don't teach normal like English and math, and they're having to teach to the test.
They're preparing you for a test. They're not teaching you the subject.
Exactly. And so when I went to Northwood, it was an eye opener. It was amazing. I mean, I remember, I talked about Brody, my mentor. He was my coach, but he's also my history teacher. Man, he made history, and I'm not. You're more so than me. I'm not. I love history, but it wasn't like my thing until I had his class, and he like brought it. Sounds cliche, but he brought it to life with some of the things he did. It was amazing. But college, it was to me, it's easier because all you have to do is show up and do the work. And the work may not be perfect, but you're there, you're communicating, you're participating. That's all they give a shit about. Now, if you want to get Dean's List and go beyond and all that, yes, you're putting in more work. But to actually graduate with a bachelor's degree, I'm just going to say it right now, it's honestly, other than, we're not going to get into the financial, obviously there's a financial aspect to it, which is, especially these days, it's really hard. I get that. But from a purely academic standpoint, it's not that hard to get a bachelor's degree. It's just not. I'm sorry. It's not.
If Cookie can do it, anybody can do it. I'm just kidding. Cliff's a very smart person. I love screwing with him.
I know. No, well, it's funny though, because I wasn't, it's like you in high school, I didn't get the best grades. And it was more because I wasn't, and I don't know, maybe this was the same with you. I never, especially when I was growing up, until I got to Northwood, and even my grades at Northwood were great, but there was a lot of other factors involved there. More of it internal. But I never felt challenged until I got to Northwood. And so I was bored.
It's funny. I was bored, but I don't know if it was that I never felt challenged. It might have been, but all I wanted to do was play sports. I mean, my senior year of high school, I was on the ice from 5 to 7 in the morning because it was a town rink, and when we take our trips, we'll go. We had our own locker room for high school hockey, public high school hockey. We had our own locker room that we can just grab.
I didn't have my own locker room in Northwood. I don't think they still do.
See, and like it was a big deal for us, and like you can ask like Samo. It was a big deal for us high school hockey back then. And then so I was on the ice,
Slam and ding dong.
Slam and have a ding dong. And like our rivalry with them was just, I mean, it was, basically we always said whoever won the section between our two schools was going to go win a state championship. But yeah, so like we were on the ice from 5 to 7 in the morning. We'd go to school. Sometimes for our lunch, we would try and do study hall after lunch. We'd go skate again. And then after school, we had practice from I want to say our practice was 3 to 5 or was it 4 to 6? I can't remember. But it was, I think we were done with school at 2:20 and it was 3 to 5. We would just go right over to the rink because we can walk to the rink from school. Yeah. And it was just, we had it we didn't realize how good we had it at the time. I mean, we didn't have all the amenities, but we had a locker room with stalls and our own showers. But that's all I cared about. And then baseball season came around, and that's all I cared about until my senior year, where that coach kind of buried the hatchet. And then summertime, I wasn't doing any reading or staying prepared for school. I was playing Legion ball, and I was out water skiing. And up until my dad died, I was out in Seattle or Los Angeles visiting him in the summer times. That's all I cared about. But I will straight up tell you, there's a couple years couple years in junior high, a couple years in high school. I definitely went to summer school. And the funny part about it is all the classes I did so bad at in the regular part of the year, I got straight A's in summer school. I just needed that second run at it, and it was familiar.
I did summer school I think once that I can remember. And the only reason I remember it is because I had to do it at Green Hill School for whatever reason. I was a public school kid, but I had to do summer school at Green Hill School, which was like this uber elite private school in Addison. I don't know if you remember that.
It was right around the corner from where I lived.
Yeah, and I don't know why I ended up there, but I did.
I probably honestly because I didn't take summer school at my high school. I had to go to Utica because I was in New Hartford High School.
But I don't know why they didn't, because where I grew up, there were at the time 2 different public high schools, or well, I guess this was a junior high, so there was even more junior highs. And
you
usually
were in Carrollton, right?
I was in Carrollton, so there was like 3 middle schools. We called them junior highs back then. They're middle schools now. I think there was 3. I don't think there was 4. And usually, if I remember right, they would always use they would kind of rotate who did the summer schools. But for whatever reason,
it was always the same in there.
Yeah, but for whatever reason that year, I didn't do those. I went to Green Hill for some reason. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me, but I'm sure my parents had a reason for it, and maybe it was trying to kick my ass in gear, and that worked out well, let me tell you.
Look at me now. But yeah, so now you got kids rolling up into school, and here's the thing, the misconception, and I'm actually one who used to feed into this misconception because my first experience coaching outside of private lessons, as far as coaching a team, was University of South Florida. We talked about it with Connor, and then I was there for a couple years, and then went over to UCF just because where I was living, there was no money. I never got paid a dime coaching any of these teams. I was only the head coach for one of the teams, and then we would just have it in there, and like our guys were all, it was Division III ACHA. We had some good players on both teams. In fact, one kid that was played Division III for Florida Atlantic, he actually went and played in Switzerland pro for a little bit. A guy named Adrian Sosa. Don't know why I remember that, but anyway, it's like the guys they were just a lot of high school kids. Not many kids played juniors. Yeah. But like when you talk ACHA Division I, when we were coaching juniors, a lot of people would say, oh, well, a lot of ACHA 1 schools get some pretty decent D3 guys. They just didn't want to do the actual grind of NCAA, which NCAA Division III and Division I, and for those who don't know, there's no Division II except for 5-6 teams if they're still around.
Like that, yeah.
And they're division, they should be Division III, but they're Division II so they can give out some scholarships. Like I think they have like 50%. So, or a certain amount of them, whatever it may be. Yeah. But still, it's weird. Like, they don't take part in a national championship or anything, but they're still NCAA. Anyway, you start seeing these guys play, and like I remember when Cookie first got to Missouri State, and I was watching a little bit when Jeremy first got there with the Division I. There's some fucking hockey players, man. And you know what? Maybe they don't practice as much, but they're dedicated.
We had a handful of kids in my 3 years there. I think we ended up having 5 or 6 go play pro at of some level, primarily in Europe. We had guys go to Sweden. We had guys go to wherever.
How cool would that be?
Oh, yeah. But yeah, we had a handful of guys. And then in our time at Drury, although the 2 that I'm going to talk about are pretty funny, we've now got 2 guys. Well, one played last year, but now we're going to have a second. They're teammates now, the new team in Topeka. They have 2 former Drury players that are, they can't play college anymore, speaking of grades. But
oh, really?
They're like me at Iowa State. There's no eligibility happening there. But they're both playing in the Fed now, so good for them.
And that's the other thing is people don't realize is it's club hockey, but they still have to abide by NCAA standards.
We quite literally, and I just so it's funny you say that. Just this week, I think it was even Monday or Tuesday. It might have been Tuesday. Just had this conversation with our athletic director and our athletic director of compliance, and she for years she's only handled the NCAA compliance stuff. But now, because of everything that's going on at the school, she's dealing with non-NCAA stuff as well. And we had this conversation the other day because we have a player. He was going to be a returner, sophomore. 3 days before school started, found out he can't. He's got concussion issues. He's still fighting through them. And actually, it may not even be concussions. It might be something else we've discovered, which is a good thing because that other thing might allow him to eventually play. Concussions, not so much. But anyways, 3 days before school started, he found out he couldn't come down from Canada. So we're trying to figure out how to deal with that from a compliance side and the eligibility side moving forward if he does come back. Anyways, but I was talking to her, and they were having this conversation about, well, and the ACHA kind of loosely follows NCAA, and I was like, well, we don't though. We actually follow NCAA hockey rules almost verbatim. Mainly because it's just the easiest way to go about it. We didn't have to create our own rules. It's easier for the league. They didn't have to come up with their own set of things. Now, there might be a little tweaks here and there for the club level, but generally speaking, almost verbatim, we follow. Like when the league, and they just did, sends out the updated guidelines for the year, it's based on NCAA guidelines that have maybe changed here and there. So, yeah, it's, as you're saying, we do follow NCAA rules almost to a T, with a few exceptions.
Which, I mean, it's good because if you have the guidelines, help takes it seriously. Your national tournament's a big deal. These guys are out there practicing, and I saw the picture you posted, and you got everyone wearing, like you said, it was a scrimmage time when you were upstairs.
Yeah,
Did you take that like from your phone?
I took it from my phone. We did a scarlet and gray scrimmage, and I have to say scarlet just to make the alumni happy. We're not red and gray. We're scarlet and gray.
Every time I say Red Drury, I'm sorry. Cliff does that to me every time.
Forgive him.
Ignorance is bliss.
I know. And Jeremy and I still so Jeremy's the one that kind of filled me in on this. When we first took the job, he, to kind of get in the good graces of everybody, almost at the same time we took the job, they hired a new women's basketball coach. And women's basketball is a huge thing on our campus. Basketball in general is, but the women's team in particular. And Casey Bailey, who's the women's basketball coach, she's freaking awesome. I love her. Jeremy went to the press conference when they announced her, and so he got to meet a lot of the alums, which is one of the reasons he wanted to go, so he could meet alums and kind of network, as Jeremy does. He's the best at it. And one of the alums, like unprovoked, made it very clear to him to make sure he knew we were scarlet and gray, not red. and to never wear black, because a lot of the alums are pissed because some of the other teams on campus wear black uniforms. He goes, don't ever do it. He goes, you can do white. We don't mind because our home jerseys are white, but don't ever wear black. And so many of them do, and it pisses off the old school alums. One of which we met at the Cardinals baseball game last night. It was a class of 68.
Wow.
Yeah, because we took our boys to the Cardinals game. Well, I shouldn't say we. The Cardinals graciously gave us tickets to go to a game last night. So
cool.
Cardinals. Yeah.
That's so awesome. Yeah, because I mean, but that's the thing is, like, so I'm looking at this picture. First of all, you guys play in an arena that holds what, 800 people?
Well, no, more than that. In fact, that wasn't even the main rink. The main rink that particular day, the picture you saw was the second rink because the main rink was just finishing getting the ice in. In fact, the next day we were able to get on our primary rink. It holds, I think, between the upstairs seating and the round glass standing room, plus there's a few bleachers down there as well.
Oh, yeah. So you have like the one in the corner over there, right? Or something like that?
Yeah, on the other ring. The one that's not in that picture, but yes, in the other one. There's some in one corner, and then there's some in the other corner as well. It's roughly, well, upstairs we know it's just under 500 seats upstairs, and then they can kind of get in, depending on who the fire marshal is that day, about 6. I mean, we can get about 1,100, 1,200 people in there, but I think the fire marshal would prefer we were closer to that 1,000 to 1,100 mark.
But still, I mean, this is club hockey. This isn't a major university sport. The school puts money into it, but they're not putting into it what they do varsity sports. This isn't a rink owned by the school. No, and now I know, yeah, and I know you guys, like you were saying earlier, like the guys live close to there, and and so they bring a lot of fans. I remember watching games last year. They bring a lot of fans, but it's a serious deal for these guys. And that's the thing about the pictures, like the scarlet and gray jerseys matching everything else. I mean, it looks so legit. And like I said, when I was at USF and UCF, like we couldn't even get guys to get matching gloves or even gloves that matched the school. And we had like some on USF, like some guys had different jerseys and different logos. And it was just like the guys had to pay $3,200 a year to play, and they barely got good of anything. UCF gave them a little bit more. They treated it a little bit nicer, some nicer jerseys and stuff like that. And not to mention UCF has that gold and black and gray and white look, like pretty decent coloring. But when you watch these things and you watch like how Division I ACHA hockey in particular is taking on a pretty serious life. I mean, you got Liberty that's on ESPN a couple times a year.
Well, no, they've got an ESPN deal. They're on ESPN3 every home game.
So there you go. They're on there, and Liberty's like a big time school. I know they've had a couple of their guys go pro. Obviously, big schools like UNLV and Minot State. I mean, this is their.
Well, that's
no one treats it as just a club team.
No, and in fact, I was pulling up the league schedule right now just to give you an idea. Now we've talked about it. We're not quite there yet. Depending on what the future holds, Jeremy and I will probably talk to some teams about doing this when we think we're in a position to do it. But where should I start? Let's see. Maryville.
Well, and the Wish Cup.
What's that?
I said, and the Wish Cup. You're talking about doing a showcase?
Yeah, Wish Cup. No, but doing playing an NCAA team.
Okay.
But so just as an example, I know Maryville's playing some, but they haven't. It's not on their league schedule yet. But I know. So I'll do UNLV. You mentioned UNLV. UNLV starts the season September 27th and October 4th. They're playing September 27th. They're playing Alaska Fairbanks, NCAA Division I.
Yep.
October 4th, they're playing University of Denver, NCAA Division I.
And Denver's who they beat last year, regardless of who was or was not on the lineup. That they still beat a NCAA Division I team.
Their goalie stood on his freaking head. But they're not the only ones. There's others. I think Grand Canyon might be doing that this year too. It may not be on this. Oh yeah, there you go. Well, they're playing Lindenwood University. They're NCAA D1 now. They're playing them twice. They're playing Alaska Fairbanks.
Oh, Lindenwood did make the jump.
Oh, a few years ago. Yeah.
To NCAA Division I?
Oh yeah, that's been like 3 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know they already were.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I remember when you played them. Didn't you play them when you were at Missouri State?
Every year.
Yeah.
Because they're out of St. Louis.
Yeah.
We played them every year. Who else? There's a couple other. But anyways, long story short, as my face is glowing from my other screen. Long story short is there are teams not only willing. I mean, for years there's been as you very well know, there's been ACHA D1 teams that'll play NCAA D3 teams. It just happens. Now, over the last 4 years, 3-4 years, now it's the NCAA Division I teams and not just random teams. It started with Liberty. Liberty, a few years ago, I think they were the first ones to play an NCAA D1 team, and they played the first year that Long Island University had a team.
Yep.
And Liberty beat them. And it was a big deal, but still, I mean, and nothing against Liberty. I mean, Kirk Haney's been there a million years. He does an amazing job.
I mean, that's a big deal program right there.
It's a big deal program. I'll take my personal thoughts about the school itself and who runs it. But the hockey team itself, Kirk Haney's an amazing human being. He does a great job at that school. And they were the first to, do the NCAA D1 opponent, and they beat them. And then now it's kind of, snowballed from there, where UNLV now every year is playing. As you mentioned, they beat Denver. And then the next night they played Colorado College. And the cool thing about that was the goalie that started for Denver, I also coached with Pikes Peak Miners. Same year I was with.
Oh, get out.
Yeah, same year I was with Swayman, this other goalie, Dougie Wakeland. His dad is a Colorado College kind of legend. He was a goalie as well, had some pro time as well. So Dougie got to start against CC. Didn't go quite as well, but it's still a really neat thing. And but
I mean, because call it like it is, like for maybe not all Canadian kids. Canadian kids used to think about going the major junior route and going pro, but for a lot of these guys, playing NCAA Division I hockey was the goal. And how hard it is to make the NCAA Division I hockey is unbelievable. So to humble yourself and say I'm going to go play ACHA Division 1, but then still get to face these guys, you're still hitting that goal.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Because you want to play Division 1 hockey, not just to say I play Division 1 hockey. You want to play Division 1 hockey to say that you're playing against the best players in the country.
And, here's another prime example I just pulled up. I keep mentioning Maryville because Maryville's coach, John Hogan, a great friend of Jeremy and I's, he's another one of those guys. I don't like to pump his tires too much because his ego doesn't need to grow anymore. But, he's a great guy. But, yeah, I'll probably give him shit when we're done with this podcast to tell him I talked about him, but he shouldn't watch. But to me, they've done this process the right way. UNLV has taken a lot of crap, including from me, but how they've handled their potential move to NCAA. Well, first of all, I don't know that, and again, maybe speaking out of turn, but I don't think so because this news was out there, is the fact that the athletic department just probably doesn't have the money at the moment to do that. And it would be a good thing because it'd be a cool market because now you've got Arizona State. You're probably about to get Arizona. I could see Utah getting into it sometime. And I could see eventually the California schools. I mean, can you imagine UCLA, USC, all those kind of schools?
I'm honestly surprised it hasn't happened already.
That'd be unreal. And then Washington, Oregon, it'd be unbelievable.
Pac-10 in there. That'd be
sick.
That'd be unreal.
But Maryville has gone about this very quietly. In fact, again, John's a close friend of ours, and he kept it. Not that he had to tell us, but he did keep it from us, even hinting at it. He kept from us. Is they are going, working on the process to go NCAA Division 1. And he literally just announced 6 hours ago that, and I don't know exactly what this means other than it says major milestone met, join our NCAA Division 1 hockey campaign. And I haven't gone to the website. It says visit MaryvilleSaints.com for more details on how to support. So I'm sure they're doing a fundraising thing. I know they're planning on adding to their rink. They have their own rink 2-sheet facility. They're adding a third sheet and upgrading the main sheet. There's a lot going on, but but they've done it the right way because they've done it quietly. They haven't been like some of the arguments, and I'll just say it out loud. I don't care. UNLV has always hinted at, we're going NCAA, even though
and used it for recruiting.
They've tried to public, we're not, but everybody's heard it. We know it. You're doing it. You're telling it to recruits. You're doing all this. So they're getting USHL kids. They're getting NCAA transfers. So they go out and they win last year. Rightfully so. They were phenomenal.
I mean, I'm not even in the college hockey realm, and I remember asking you about it because I heard about it.
Yeah, it's just out there. So at some point you go, just stop denying it and just say it publicly. You're not hurting anything, but
because the crazy thing is, you look at even where I am in DC, there's no Division 1 hockey here.
No,
we have the closest teams to us are Long Island University, Penn State, and Robert Morris are really the closest ones to us, and then you get out to Ohio State, and I guess there's another school out there I just can't think of off the top of my head, but I mean, there's really no, and then Alabama Huntsville south of us. And that's true. Well, no, I thought they did a thing to save it and bring it back, or it finally went kaput.
No, it's gone. Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean they lost it down there. Now on the flip side, a place like University of Alabama.
Well, the problem there is, and we've played them quite a bit over the years at Missouri State, and then we played them last year.
You opened against them last year, didn't you?
Opened against them last year, and we felt bad. We were supposed to return the trip this year. We had to cancel. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that next year. They played a beautiful facility, but the problem is their beautiful facility is an hour and a half from campus.
They would have to build a place
they
right there.
Have to build something in Tuscaloosa because right now they play in is it Birmingham? Yeah. They play in Birmingham. Well, technically, it's not Birmingham, but it's close enough because the Birmingham Bulls play out of there. But it's It's Pelham. They play in Pelham, Alabama. And
we played our regionals there when I was with USF.
Beautiful facility.
Big arena.
And that whole area, and it's 2-sheet plus there's a convention center and an amphitheater next door and all this stuff. But even the area is just gorgeous, man. It's like a park. It's beautiful. Hills and trees, and it's actually stunning, but it's an hour and a half from campus. What are you going to do?
It's a lot to ask your school players to drive.
But it also goes back, and I guess this, and we'll get back to where our team's going right now. But and this is a bigger conversation for another time, is just how much expansion do you want? How much hockey's out there, and how much watered down is it going to get? Because you mentioned, the Pac-10 doing all those schools, which would be really cool. There's an argument to be made for they're all over the place now. It's SEC, but I was going to say Big 12, Texas, Oklahoma, all those guys too.
Well, here's the thing: is like watering down at first, sure, but now like with the lanes being opened,
it makes a huge difference
of major, junior, and like just why are colleges not bringing in more European players?
By the way, let me find this while we're talking. Did you happen to see this random ass story? It was sent to Jeremy and I yesterday. Where is it? This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Yeah. And literally the title, Sauce Hockey on Twitter posted this, and the first sentence is, "This is one of the most fascinating cases in the new college hockey landscape. 2 players with both ECHL and AHL games under their belts made it through the NCAA clearinghouse, granting Hudson Thornton and Connor McClennan eligibility for this season. They have committed to Bemidji State. They've played in the Coast, and they've played in the A."
So they were kids in major juniors at the end of the year, went to one of these teams.
Unbelievable to me that this is where we're at now.
And here's the crazy thing about that is those guys, I don't think they sign a normal contract when they do that, but they also were playing major juniors before, so you don't really think about it.
Yeah, so Bemidji State is now getting guys that played in the American and in the Coast. Unreal.
I mean, I'm sure it was a minimum amount of games, but that's just something.
Yeah, it goes back to just what you said. Now things have opened up. So,
yep. Let me tell you, man, here's how strict it was specifically for hockey, because the amount of gear you have to have for hockey. So, like last year when rookie camp before the 24-25 season, Ryan Leonard was down there. Obviously, we had a bunch of kids in college down for development camp, not rookie camp, just development camp.
Yeah.
And when they're here, the Capitals were not even allowed to give Ryan Leonard sticks because it was a violation of what it is. I don't even know if that rule's been lifted now because of NIL and all this other kind of stuff. But at the time, they weren't allowed to give him sticks. Like the equipment they gave him, he wasn't like, they don't really keep the gear anyway. But like they weren't allowed to keep like the pants and the helmet and the gloves.
Well, my guess is, and I don't know this because, as talented as our team is, our guys aren't going to this level, but my guess is they can get all that stuff, but not directly from the Caps or whatever NHL team.
Well, if they just got it from their schools.
Well, not even that. I'm saying like directly from Bauer.
Well, last year, no, because the NIL wasn't there for hockey. Like they weren't recognizing it yet.
Oh yeah,
they
were.
But not for like, as far as that professional, like there's still very gray areas. So I think they're just being careful.
Yeah, that's probably because, as we've said a million times, and I say it over and over again, and people get offended by it, but I don't mean to offend people. It's just the truth. Hockey is such a different animal. No other sport does that. No other sport has it where guys already in college and are staying in college go to pro camps.
Yeah.
Even in baseball, because in a lot of ways, as far as the draft
goes, so weird because their draft is in July.
But what I'm saying, well, that too. But what I'm saying is, as far as the draft process goes, in many ways, baseball and hockey are similar. But still, college baseball guys aren't. A guy that was drafted by the Rangers or the Orioles isn't going to their pro camp and then going back to college.
Yeah, you confused me for a second because you said Rangers, but I know where you're at now.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's the funny part. Like you look at a college roster. And you'll see, like, if you're ever looking at, like, an NCAA roster, and last year we had Penn State and Army play at Cap One Arena, which, by the way, Army's uniforms were sick. But, But when you're looking at the roster, you can see, except for Army, because they're not getting drafted. But you can see, like, the guys. Yeah. And you see, like, if they're drafted by a team, it's like the player's name, their position, and then next we'll have the logo of the pro team that their rights are owned by. And it's just like, you're right. You don't see, that's not a thing in football. That's not a thing in basketball, or actually zero sports. And then on top of it, the operating cost of hockey is light years.
We are now at episode 21. We've been hinting at that show for 21 episodes.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm talking about the operating cost for a team.
I know
even.
that's part of the
Like,
whole thing, though, and
yeah, it is, and why it's
and,
getting worse.
and
But
it's by the day, because I had some weird news this week, which we'll get into once we get into that episode.
yeah, and honestly, we need to do that one because it's making me grind my teeth at night, and I'm not even really. And
It's
where I am
making
still
me-
involved is I need sticks. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I go through them. I'm a heavy guy now, and I use a stiff stick. But so the benefits of a stiff stick is it's not going to break as easy. But once the flex is there, it's snapping right after.
No,
So-
and it is an issue. Even we get back to, I know what we had talked about, maybe talking about tonight. My team, it's an issue for us right now because we play, and I know this is some of what we were going to talk about is getting the start of the season. We play well as this show is going to become live in a week. As we're
Yeah.
recording it, it's a week from tomorrow, but it comes out on Friday. We play in a week. We don't have all our equipment yet.
Yeah, and
it's
that's
for a
and that's
variety- it's
another thing.
nothing to do on our end with the financial thing. It has to do with, there's some of these manufacturers, number one, that are apparently in trouble. Number two, shipping's a nightmare. We'll get into the tariffs. Tariffs don't have anything.
Shipping's been a nightmare since COVID. It
Yeah.
hasn't recovered.
I mean, we ordered we're waiting on it like 3 or 4 helmets right now. That's pants. We already knew were back ordered. There's guys that are going to be wearing pant shells, not pants. They're going to wear pant shells over their junior team pants for the first.
Which, by
2
the way,
weeks.
let me cut you off. You're a club team and you're getting the guys full pants, not shells. A lot of, again, going back, there's teams that make guys get the color. Like, hey, just go buy some red pants. Just go buy some black
Yeah,
pants, whatever. But
well, But even at Missouri State, we got all that. I mean, it's because and Missouri State doesn't get school funding to the point where what little they did
Missouri State didn't get anything.
Well, it's probably similar when you were down at UCF and USF because they, the intramural department. So here's the difference between what we had at Missouri State and what we have at Drury. At Missouri State, and I might have talked about this, but it goes along with this. Missouri State, we fell under the intramural department, probably the same as when you were intramural club sports.
The school had to give them like X amount of dollars,
and so they got. And it varies every year, and I don't know how they determine what you get through the intramural department, but it was never more than a few grand. And when I say a few, I'm literally meaning like 25, $3,000. I don't even think they ever made the $5,000 moat. And as anybody who's done this for a while knows, that gets you nothing in hockey.
Yeah,
we're talking
that's 4 practices.
We're talking $200,000 budgets at best. It's especially depending on where you are. We're in a place here where ice costs aren't crazy, but they're still higher than they probably should be because they're the only rink in town they can get away with it.
Yep.
But we're not in Dallas where ice costs are $600 an hour.
Florida was at the time $450 to $500 an hour.
So we, being part of the athletic department, I'm not going to get into details for obvious reasons, but we obviously get, because we are with the athletics department, not like an intramural club sport, we're called a non-NCAA sport, we have a better budget. Now, it's not what we need, so we still have a ton of fundraising to do, but it's still a better scenario. Well, I shouldn't say that than Missouri State, because Missouri State is so established. They've got a great thing going. They had, someone that kind of started the program that put together kind of almost like a trust. I don't even know what you want to call it.
I remember you were talking about that.
Yeah, they have money to work with compared to the other club sports on the Missouri State campus, so they're able to provide.
That puts them in a fortunate position.
That's the thing. They are allowed that because of that. They're compared, and that goes back to what we said before when we were talking about kind of the academic side of things. There's the difference between the state school, the private school. But because of how Missouri State and the the amazing Stan Melton, I'll say that. And I'm not trying to pump Missouri State's tires because they're now a rival, even though my degree's from there. But we're playing them. But I do like the people there. I had ill will. I still probably have a little bit. But as far as the people there, they're good people. Some of our players are still there. I love those guys. And Stan he's my landlord. He's just a phenomenal human being. He's the only reason there's an ice rink in this town, frankly. And that's not even, that's the truth. There would not be an ice rink here without him. And so So he created a really good thing for them. So they're, compared to other state schools, they're on another level because of how well that was established originally and is kind of built compared to other state schools that are grinding. Not to say they're not grinding; they're clearly grinding.
Right.
I mean, we're in a private school situation where we have a budget and we are grinding. Jeremy in particular is just grinding every day because we have to fundraise, have to fundraise, and there's a lot of options for us to fundraise. There's some we're not allowed to do because we're a private school. There's some just random things we just can't do.
Right.
The school won't allow us, and the more it's been explained to us, we understand it. It still sucks, but we understand it. And that's the one thing I don't think people understand. But the more I've talked to NCAA friends of mine, they kind of have to do it too. There's the
NCAA teams still have to do a ton of fundraising. They get their stuff in school. They get their costs covered, but they're looking for profits.
Those coaches are kissing the babies and shaking the hands like politicians too, because they've got to do it.
They got to do the radio interviews. They got to do all the stuff.
There's a reason, and people don't understand this, and they will give guys like this shit, and I get it. Some of them deserve it, some of them don't, but I get it. The big-time football programs, Nick Saban, guys like that. Nick Saban when he's there, Bob Stoops when he's at OU, guys like that. As successful as those programs are, the best in the history of NCAA football, and the Ohio States of the world and all that, they're still having to do that. Nick Saban has to go on these speaking tours and meet and greet alums and do all this stuff to make sure that funding doesn't go away so they can still be who they are.
Oh yeah, man. It's no joke about what these coaches, it's in their contracts about public engagements and stuff that they have to do, because that keeping that money coming in. Because the other thing is,
gravy train's a real thing, man. The gravy train's a real thing.
It's no joke, and you got to be out there. You have to be out there doing. You got to be out there kissing the hands and shaking the babies, man, to get that money coming in. Let me tell you.
The issue, and I'm not going to react to that. The issue is, and I guess where we're going with this from our side of things, as I'm wearing the ACHA hat and my team stuff, and I did that on purpose tonight, obviously, is for us, it's on a whole other level because Alabama's still going to have funding, even if we're not, even if they're having a down year and doing all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Us in the ACHA, even at Drury, whatever school you want to mention of the 70, I don't even know where we're at this year because they added some new teams. We're playing one of them, in fact. Every single one of us has to grind and grind and grind to fundraise. And at times it feels like we spend more time doing that than we do the coaching side of things, but it's part of what we signed on for. The stuff that's frustrating for us, and I know for every other coach at our level, because we all have to do it, is when we get our players involved, we have to talk to them about, hey, we're doing this fundraising thing, we're doing this we have a big one coming up with us. We got multiple, but the next big one coming up for us is in mid-September, and it's called Champions Challenge, and every team on our campus does it. And it's kind of a contest, and it's matching gifts and all this. So, we've got our players, going out to try and get donations and potentially matching gifts. So if someone donates $10, maybe that becomes $20 or $30. I mean, it's just never ending. The bonus is a lot of it happens early on. So once we kind of get through the early part of this and we get into November, December, we can get back to it's only hockey, and not all of it. But at the end of the day, it never really stops.
But keep in mind, too, so you guys are going into the season. The whole beginning part of your season is practice, guys getting acquainted with each other. A lot of the guys in your team played against each other. This is and I'll not to interrupt, but because you brought up an interesting point, because our team in particular, so again, we've got 6 practices before our first game, only because the rink took away 2 practices. One Labor Day, they decided not to open. And then this past Monday, I'm still not real sure why they took away that ice. I haven't quite figured that out yet. We were supposed to have 8 practices, which, as you know, still not nearly enough. But we're at 6 practices before we play our first game next Friday. But the bonus is we have 7 new guys. We didn't lose anybody to graduation. We lost a couple guys that moved on, and then one that dropped down to our Division III team. But of our 28 guys on our roster right now, 19 of them played in the same junior league. There's a lot of familiarity,
So much familiarity. Yeah.
which is really good because a lot of teams don't have that. I mean, and then there's the flip side in major Division One sports, college hockey teams. The guys played against each other either in the USHL or probably the AJHL, or I mean, the AJHL is probably the best. Yeah, it's probably the best junior league as far as the CJHL right now. But them or I mean, yeah, I guess it would still be the AJ is still probably one of the best ones.
It was the BC with what BC did the last couple of years. Who knows? It's kind of up in the air. AJ
For a long time, it was the OJ. The OJ was top dog, and then it was the what do they call it? The Q AAA, whatever it is in Quebec, was really good. And then you had a really good league out in BC. And the AJ was always good. The MJ was good. The SJ was good. But with, like you said, the BC getting wonky, the AJ was really, I mean, you teams in the AJ, like Brooks was just dynamite team for so many years. And then, but and then a lot of those guys went on.
But every year you weren't seeing a lot of guys outside of the BCHL in Canada getting drafted in the NHL.
Yeah, no, it was BC. Like I said, a couple OJ, a couple AJ, but then it was USHL. Here in the States,
it was primarily BC guys, and then, like you said, the occasional AJ, occasional OJ. But now, I would say with what the BCHL did, and I still don't fully understand it, as we've talked about in a previous episode. But maybe someday somebody will explain it to me. But I'm with you. The AJ, man. Let's put it this way: we've got some guys that play in the BC on our team, or at least had BC experience, and they're our best players. They're phenomenal, and I would never ever turn down a kid that played in the AJ wanting to come to us. Not a chance.
Yeah, it's a solid league, and then you guys got these guys playing against each other. So they come to school, they are trying to get situated, especially your freshmen, trying to get situated in a brand new place in a brand new school, whether they know the guys or not. I mean, that's the other side. You play against guys a lot. There might have been some harsh rivalries. Hopefully, you didn't have any of that coming in. And
we did, but they're all buddies, so
yeah. And that's hockey for you. And then. Yeah, and then now you got the fundraising stuff going on, and then you're a third of the way through your season because you guys play 25 to 30 games a year.
We have 29 on our schedule this year. We should have had 31, but a couple got canceled on us. So yeah, we'll have 29 this year.
So it's these guys are coming from a 60 game year, 50 to 60 game season.
Yeah. Well, and the biggest, it's funny, not just that the number of games is kind of cut in half. The biggest thing they have to realize is at Christmas, they get 5 weeks off now.
Yeah.
You used to get maybe a week.
Yeah. It was one or 2 weeks.
We have 5 weeks off at Christmas.
They're also not practicing every day anymore.
No, until the end of October, we're 4 days a week. Once we get to the start of November, we're 3 days a week.
Of all ice, or like including games?
No, practice ice.
Oh,
so right now we're 4 days a week, other than what the rink took away from us this past Monday and this coming Monday.
Okay, but you realize you're practicing a lot more than a lot of other teams.
Yes and no. Well, yes, but like even at Missouri State, we were similar. We were 4 days a week. 3 days a week. We added a fourth early in the season. That's what we're doing now. So we do 4 to start the season, and then we cut it back. And then in January, when we come back, we'll do 4 for the first few weeks, and then we'll cut it back again to 3.
Yeah, see, that's good. See, that's actually kind of the counter argument because, like, again, a lot of teams, even D1 teams, ACHA D2 teams, they're practicing twice a week because of just ice availability at the very least. Not a lot of these places, I mean, have a rink in town right there like that. And so that's a big obstacle for guys because it's hard to build a chemistry when you're not on the ice a lot together.
Yep.
And so, and you're going through the season to make a national tournament, a couple showcases. I mean, nobody's flying to games. You're busting it everywhere, which, I mean, tier 3 style, any junior hockey style right there. Heck, even up to the coast and a lot of the AHL, it's buses. So now you're going through your season and you're making this tournament. Everybody's on the bus. I mean, up to the AHL, you're on the bus. And I think even when we were talking about like with the Brahmas, I think the only time the team flew was when they went to Fresno. I think.
Yeah. In my time at Missouri State, we only had one flight, and that was out to Arizona. We played in. Where were we? Well, we played University of Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's down in not Tempe. That's
Yeah, that's what's throwing me off. My brain's not functioning.
in Arizona.
Well, this is the thing. So our first road trip this year is up to Bismarck, North Dakota, and we're bussing. That's a 14-hour one.
And that's what school?
University of Mary, UMary.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
but you know what though? I remember even coaching with you, and we always, I'd love to a good long road trip in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, 14 hours is a lot, but at least you're not going in the middle of winter.
Yeah, and I don't mind bus trips. The problem I have, and you know what, we brought this up when Lazzie's dumbass was on this the other day. I can't sleep on buses. Jeremy's asleep before we leave the parking lot.
The guys aren't even on the bus.
We do have. That's the one trip this year we're gonna have the sleeper bus. But I still won't probably sleep. The one trick I've learned to try and sleep is a weighted blanket.
Yeah, that's actually really good.
That's the only thing that's allowed me to sleep on a bus is a weighted blanket.
How many guys you take on the road when you go up there?
We'll take everybody this trip because there's enough bunks to take the 28 guys. We'll take everybody this trip. We'll take everybody on our Chicago showcase trip, and we'll take everybody to nationals. Other than that, most road trips we'll take. Anyway, 28 guys. We'll probably take
21, 23. How many are you dressing?
We can dress 19 and our 3 goalies. Technically, I don't think we're supposed to dress 3 goalies, but every single team.
NCAA dresses 3 goalies too.
I know,
and I don't know why.
No, well, this is the confusion because supposedly this is one of those the rules tweaks that makes no sense. Is we are only supposed to be allowed to dress 3 goalies at the national tournament. Like, what's the difference? You know, let us dress 3 goalies. And the only reason I say that, I don't want to sound like a prick, especially if the guys are watching this. Like, it's good for everybody else because there's 2 guys to open the doors on the bench. And I know that sounds like a dick thing to say, but let's be honest, it's true.
That's really it, because let me tell you, when I played defense.
This isn't youth hockey when you have a dad down there doing it.
No, but I mean, I played D, and even when I was a forward, like if I was by the door and there's a change and I'm scooting down the bench, I hit the latch and slide. Like it's not that big of a deal. No. But I mean, three goalies, like I get bringing 3 goalies in case you need your own e-bug. But dressing 3 goalies is bananas to me.
Well, the one thing I've always argued, well, there's 2 things I've argued. One is the goalie situation. And another one is I wish we could get Howgie on. I want to convince him to bring this up at the NCAA meeting since we follow their rules. But the 3 goalie thing, because again, technically, we're not supposed to, and it doesn't make sense because I'm with you. NCAA, they always have 2 guys on the bench. Always. Mm-hmm. My thing is, let us dress 3. Now, I will say our number 1 does not like us dressing 3 because he wants as many shots and warm-ups as he can get. And my argument to him is, my argument to him is go watch an NHL warm up sometime.
Like, he takes a few
have like 5 shots and they're like, we're done. Like they will do the same drills we do in our warm ups, but they'll do them for like 5 seconds and then move on. We do them for fucking 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's funny. They get they do it just to get movement.
Yeah, and that's what our guys don't. Yeah, our guys don't quite grasp that concept. But anyways, my thing is, who cares? Dress 3 goalies. What does it mean at the end of the day? Nothing. As long as my thing is, this is where I was going. On the score sheet, designate who the number 2 is for that game. Designate the backup.
Yeah.
And then if you have to go to the 3, because here's again, I know it rarely happens, but it does happen. Last year, we went up to Davenport. Davenport comes to us. I went up to Davenport. They ran our number 1. Mm-hmm. He got knocked out of the game. Concussion symptoms. He ended up not having concussion, thankfully. But so we put our backup in. But what's to say that guy gets hurt? Now we're gonna have to wait 15 minutes for someone else to get dressed. Might as well have him on the bench. Who gives a shit?
Well, that's like my thought of that would be like bring 3, have 1 goalie. He doesn't take warm-ups. He's your e-bug basically. He sits in the locker room or sits out by the door or wherever, and he has maybe his pants on, his socks on.
What goalie have you ever met that is going to want to do that, even if the coach is requiring him to? He'd be in he'd be in even grumpier mood than he already is.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean that, or at the end of the day, he sits in the stands. The moment the other goalie gets hurt, he has to go get changed.
Yeah. The other rule I want to see change, not at the pro level. Just make that clear. This is I would say juniors and college level. This is because we can dress 19 skaters, which means one extra, whether it's an extra forward or an extra D.
Mm-hmm.
I have never, ever understood why you have 4 sets of forwards, 4 lines of forwards, and 3 sets of D.
I've always in hockey, I've never.
But you can dress one extra guy. Why not 2? Then you have 4 sets of 5. You want to increase scoring in the NHL? Have a 5-man unit all the way down the lineup.
I loved only 3 sets of D when I played defense.
I get it,
but
no,
yeah,
I get it. But it's either take away the one, which I don't want him to do, or give us another one, and then we can have 5 units, not just 4 sets of forwards. You have 5-man unit. Can you imagine practicing with a 5-man unit and developing that chemistry? Oh my God.
I think I mean, heck, at the pro level,
Power
at least
play unit all the time.
so much, but like, you know, you have these guys. I think what they did is set the amount of players they're allowing to dress, but without thinking of what each line consists of. And that's as far as I think they thought about it at the time. And
Because the NHL, because we get 19, the NHL it's 18.
It's 18 and 2.
Yeah,
18
so they have
skaters
one
total.
less skater.
So they have 4 full and 3 sets of D. Period.
Yeah.
And then
But
the
I
moment
thought
somebody gets hurt,
Yeah, but I'm saying when you're at the junior level and the college level, the guys you're supposedly developing to get to the next level, why not add one more?
yeah, no, I agree. And like, who's brought it up ever?
No one. I've never heard anyone other than myself bring it. I'm not saying I'm breaking ground.
I say get rid of the third goalie being dressed and dress another skater.
Well, the third goalie doesn't matter. He's opening the door.
He's taking up space. His big ass on the bench is taking up space.
He's not sitting on the bench. He's not taking up space. He's standing up to open the door.
Thanks, Dan.
Our 2 goalies that are not in the game are not sitting. They're standing up at the door. And usually one of them's leaning around to talk to the other backup goalie on the other team.
Yeah, that's true. You do see him leaning over the whole time, which is funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just like, I mean, it would make sense. Again, I'm still hung up on that third goalie. But
that's the most random shit, because the third goalie, and I'm not saying this as a.
I don't know why. I don't have a reason why.
I was going to say, why do you not like Taylor Swift? See, there you go. Gotcha. Shut your hole.
First of all, don't ever make a sentence sound like I don't like Taylor Swift.
I know.
There's going to be a major freaking problem.
But I proved my point, didn't I?
You did. I even said I don't know why. I told you I'm hung up on it, and I don't know why. But the fact that you're going to put Tay's name in the middle of all this,
that's the argument. That's the argument.
There's
There's no reason for anybody to not like Taylor Swift, and there's no reason for you to not like a third goalie being dressed. Who gives a shit?
I don't, let me tell you, it's bothered me forever.
This is not one of the clips we're posting. I don't
your
know.
Your poor third goalie right now is going, what the fuck, man? Dude, what did I do? But yeah, no, this is but you know what the other thing is? Well, we talked about the NIL and stuff like that. We talked about CHL players coming. Nobody came and asked me for a solution, which I'm a little offended about. But here's, I think, would have been a great solution to this whole thing.
I think we're going to find out why they didn't ask you.
No. I think you'll like this. So the CHL didn't bring in anybody to they're allowing players to go to the NCAA, I mean, now. It's just kind of an open book thing, and I feel like NCAA panicked and allowed it to happen when it comes to hockey because of this. Because of all the NIL stuff going up. Like, because hockey wasn't the big sport dealing with it. It was basketball and football were the big pushers for the NIL. But what they should have done to allow CHL players to come in, because they are treated like pro players in the CHL. They play a 62-game season, I believe it is, or 65-game season, and these guys are, I mean, it's an NHL preparation league, the CHL. What they should have done is, they should have left it open. So if a guy's 15, 16, 17 years old and they're playing in the CHL and they say, I want to go to college, let those kids be eligible for college and let them go on to play in college, move them over. If they played as an 18, 19, or 21 or 20-year-old, then those guys are still no longer eligible. Or maybe even let the 18-year-old come in as a 19-year-old freshman. But now I think it's caused so much of a stir because there's no regulations on it. You have guys that are going to be 21 years old coming out of the CHL that can still go to college.
Well, what's the difference? I mean, I've got 21-year-old freshmen.
Because your 21-year-old freshmen weren't playing in the CHL.
But what I get
It's
that.
not
but
it's not an age thing. It's an experience thing where these guys basically
no, I'm not with you on this one. I'm not with you. And I don't think the NCAA panicked on it. I think it was an inevitability. They really didn't have a choice.
Well, maybe not panic, but I feel like it was definitely rushed. And doing because there's no real guidelines around anything. It's just like.
But the thing is, here's my thing. What guidelines are needed? Because it's just now they're just being treated as just another junior league. So what guidelines are needed?
I think that's the part I don't like because I loved the CHL as a bit of a more top league for NHL development. But I also like the fact if guys were coming in like 15-year-olds, I mean, that's exceptional talent. There's not a lot of those guys that come through.
I guess here's my counter argument. Why is it up to the NCAA to save the CHL?
Oh, definitely not.
Because there's guys now that are actually now deciding to go ahead and skip the CHL or leave early because they can go play NCAA now. That's not the NCAA's fault. That's the CHL's fault.
Well, the CHL and the NCAA are competing leagues.
100%.
They've been competing leagues.
Yeah, but it's not, and it's even more so now because the guys can go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess financially it's a better decision because now you get guys like Gavin McKenna's coming to Penn State. That's massive. That is a massive move for the NCAA. So yeah, to your argument as far as favoring the NCAA, I like the difference in it, but I mean. I guess at some point, really what it'll end up being is the CHL is just going to deplete in talent and guys are going to go to college and NCAA hockey is going to expand.
Here's the thing I find interesting
which I'm not against expansion of NCAA hockey, by the way. It sounded like I was
I think we definitely agree on that. Here's the thing I find interesting because when the CHL thing, which I think we all knew was an inevitability, and it, you know, I'm grateful it happened. Not that we will long-term take advantage when that trickle-down effect really starts to kick in.
Yeah.
But putting that aside.
When you guys start lying about your recruiting.
Well, now you don't even really need to do that. But I find it interesting because a good, close mutual friend of ours who we've named on here many times, but I'm not going to do it in this case because for my own reasons, but when it was first announced, he messaged me and asked what I thought of it. And I said, I think it's about time. And it was inevitable. I don't think, NCAA didn't have a choice because once the NIL thing, and I have my own issues with NIL, we can get into another episode. I don't personally have a problem with the NIL. I have a problem with certain aspects of it, and we can get into that another time. But his first reaction was, well, the USHL's done. Like they're screwed. Well, I think what you're finding is, and there may be some truth to that, but the USHL is always still going to be a great league. CHL is always still going to be a great league. They're still going to be the kings of junior hockey. That's just not going anywhere.
To interject real quick, do you think there's a potential in the future for CHL versus USHL or maybe merging those leagues?
I think we're already going there.
That's what I mean. I'm talking about like officially, like they play each other and they.
That's what I'm saying. I think we're already going there. I think there's going to come a point where maybe even something like the Memorial Cup becomes a full North American thing, not just a Canadian thing.
That would be a massive and awesome league.
It'd be unbelievable. But the reason I'm saying that, well, first of all, you've already got USHL teams moving to CHL, but where I was going to is I think the bigger hit is. And I do think USHL will be hit a bit, but I don't think it's playing out the way our friend thought it was. Maybe not quite. I think it's now already affecting the CHL more because guys that were going to go CHL are now saying, I mean, I just saw one earlier this week, guys foregoing, like, what's the point of going to the CHL now? I'll just go to college hockey. It's a weird, even as I'm saying that, it's still a weird argument. If you can still do both, why wouldn't you do that? Then go to college? I understand in my head it's a weird argument.
Yeah.
But,
and especially with the CHL, USHL, and when the trickle down hits the NAHL, like you're looking at guys that are now going to be stuck with the decision of, do I go to school as a true freshman? Like, do you think the true freshman thing is going to become even more rare?
Well, there's another side of this that no one's even talked about because there's that one we talk about the junior leagues constantly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it's the top junior leagues from the Naval up, USHL to CHL. What changes with Minnesota hockey?
What do you mean?
Minnesota high school hockey.
Oh. Yeah.
How does this affect Minnesota high school hockey, which is the granddaddy of it all?
I mean, personally, Minnesota high school hockey has already been they're nowhere near as strong as they used to be.
But you're still getting those guys drafted. You're not getting guys from other.
I mean, you're getting guys drafted from. It's like three schools.
Yeah, Edina guys are getting drafted still, but you're not seeing that as much.
I think there's a Warroad guy too.
Yeah, I think so too. But you're not, and this is a whole another conversation as well because we talk about how juniors has taken over from when I was coming up, and it was the prep school route. You had Shaddix, the Northwoods, the Phillips Exeters, all those, the Cranbrook, and all that.
That whole New England area.
Yeah, and those every year guys were getting drafted out of that. That's where Northwoods, where Chris Terrian, Tony Granato.
Brian Leach came out of Avon Old Farms and
Avon Old Farms. There's a great example. Yeah, obviously, I mean Sidney Crosby did Shattuck, but he also went to CHL. So
I mean Shattuck's the only school worth anything out there in the Midwest, but they played against AAA and Junior A teams for their schedule.
Yeah, I mean, when I was with Pikes Peak, we played them. So,
and if you've never been to Shattuck St. Mary's, you should go visit that campus. It's an awesome place.
The landscape has changed drastically. There's no question about it.
I mean, even though it's just an idea, I would love to see the USHL and the CHL become one league.
I don't know that it'll ever become one league, but I think the crossover is going to happen now. I think they almost have to.
I mean, I'm sure you'll start seeing it in preseason.
Yeah.
Because they were already able to compete with each other, honestly.
But I had already heard early on when the official announcement was made that we all knew was coming, I was already hearing some rumors of whether it's the Memorial Cup, which is kind of a holy grail thing, or something else along those lines. And the Memorial Cup to me is kind of a holy grail thing. I mean, that's a dream would be to go see that in person for sure.
Yeah.
But there were already rumors of, hey, we've got to now for sure. We got to find a way for those two leagues to play each other, not combined, but whether it's a mid-season showcase where not every team shows up, but a good amount of them, like we do in the ACHA, just something needs to happen.
And I guess the first steps would depict the future stuff. If you get USHL teams playing in a showcase against CHL teams and win games, then you'll start seeing them. Then you have more potential of like a super league.
And I'll say this, Jeremy and I just talked about it earlier because we're, he and I share streaming services, including one that includes NHL Network, and he's getting rid of it. And I said, well, there's a point in the year where we need the NHL Network, and that's World Juniors, because World Juniors is one of my favorite things to watch every year.
It was one of my favorite things I've ever photographed.
It's my favorite thing to watch every year. And now I'm sitting there going, World Juniors will still be one of my favorite things to watch every year, as will USHL versus CHL.
That would be, and honestly, I'm more excited to see more college hockey. Yeah.
That would, in the hockey world, that would just break records.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is I think it starts off as we'll play a couple games here and there. It'll probably start off as a couple preseason games.
Yeah.
And the downside of that is CHL guys are still going to get sent down to USHL teams. as the way goes. Now, here's the other side of that. In the CHL, I really think the majority of this affects is the OHL and a little bit of the WHL, not as much of the QMJHL.
By the way, interrupt you. Just announced this week, a WHL kid is going to the ACHA to a Division II team.
Oh, it took a second for Division II to register.
I knew that was going to take a second. And I mentioned this to Jeremy, and he had the same reaction I did right away because he played for Tri-City in the dub.
Uh-huh.
He's going to like Western Washington or something. Pretty
It's
sure they
home
play
for
the
him.
same rink. He's not. I don't think I know if he's from there.
But I mean, it's for him. He's been there.
Girlfriend's involved. Got to be.
Oh God, yeah, 100%. 100%. This isn't theory. This is fact.
You're not going from the dub, and no offense to ACHA 2. You're not going from the dub to ACHA 2. And if you are, you're not going to that ACHA 2 team because they're not that good.
He's going to quit hockey.
There are some ACHA 2 teams that are actually really, really good.
I mean, Gulf Coast was always super solid as a
every
team.
year. Sioux College, who beat us at regionals 2 years ago, they're really good. Yeah. Western Washington, where that kid's going, ain't one of them.
Tri-City, where do they play out of? Do they play out of? They got to be closer to Spokane. No, Spokane has a team, and Wenatchee has a team, which is kind of central Washington. I wonder where they. I guess Tri-City's kind of down by the border with all those states. I think like
Kennewick.
Yeah.
So Kennewick, Washington. Let's just go take a search of what colleges are in Kennewick, Washington. Washington State University, Tri-Cities. What else we got?
Yeah, that's not the same wazoo as like the big time football program though.
Yeah, I got to find out where this kid ended up going.
So clearly, that the Tri-Cities is like a big thing identifying the area. But yeah, he's got himself a hockey rocket, and he's not
he's either like you said originally, he's either a hometown kid, or there's a girlfriend involved,
or both. And it's been his girlfriend since junior high, and she's not about him going anywhere.
It is in. Oh my God! It's where my dad lives. It's in Bellingham, nowhere near where he's playing.
Oh yeah, Wellingham. In fact, Bellingham is where I used to go camping with my dad up at Whatcom Lake. There,
The kid's from Alaska.
maybe.
Dude, he's a stud.
How'd he do on Tri-City last year? Look up his stat.
145 games in the dub. Actually, more than that, 151 games in the dub.
How many?
26 points. He's a defenseman.
How many?
Oh, no, he's a forward. 26 points in 151 games.
I mean, he's still better in ACHA Division
Like
II.
I say, he still played 151 games in the dub. He's
Yeah,
a
this
forward.
Whatcom Lake right there is where we used to go camping every year. That's hysterical. That's like 2.5, 3 hours north of Seattle.
He played at Shattuck. What the hell is happening with this?
That's an article. Like, hey, it should be a journalist calling him up, going, "Hey, man, what's up with you?"
Oh, they've got a little highlight reel of him. Yeah, there's a goal. Cool.
Where
I am so confused. Yeah, he's going to Bellingham. That's not a girlfriend thing.
Unless he has a girlfriend from Kennewick that's going to that school. I guess that's the only other.
So confused. This is how it is. But still, the dude played 151 games in the dub, and he's going to play in an. Oh, I'll tell you right now.
Well, like I said, and maybe the girlfriend's going there as well.
Let's pull up men's Division II team records from last year. Western. Oh my God! Okay, this is taking on a whole other thing.
Cookie's just beside himself right now.
Western Washington played 18 games last year. That's it. What do you think their record was?
2-16.
You're not terribly far off.
Holy crap!
5-12-1.
What
is happening right now?
It has to be the girlfriend. She's going to Western Washington University as well. Even worse, I'm going to throw another wrench in the engine. She's pregnant.
Their and his Instagram's private. I already looked.
What's his
Their
name?
their goal differential is -49. Andrew Fan.
Just strange. I mean, it has to be a girl.
I don't know, man. I'm so confused. Like if he goes in the same conference, because Western Washington's in the PAC conference, like Cal Berkeley went 27-1 and had a goal differential of plus 138.
Jesus Christ.
The next closest was University of Washington at plus 72 in that conference.
He's pretty level too. I mean, 5 goals, 8 assists, 7 goals, 5 assists.
In their conference, they came in dead last.
A lot of penalty minutes.
Not a ton, and 140.
No, actually, yeah, it was 45 one year, 66 the next year.
Man, that's less than a minute a game.
Like, did you go to the Hockey House Pod? They posted it too, and it's like, "Welcome
That's
to
right.
the ACHA."
No, that's where I looked it up.
Oh, okay. Like that's he didn't play last year though.
Oh, did he
His
not?
last year was 23-24. Someone commented ACHA is going to get very good, very fast. Major junior, yeah.
I know. I'm reading all the comments too, and it's just, yeah. And some of these people just don't get us. They don't. Get
No,
the
but
league, so.
you know what though? There's someone that kind of said what I said. Is at some point, you're just tired and want to play for fun.
Yeah.
I'm curious why he didn't play last year. He didn't play last year as a 21-year-old. He didn't even play his age out year.
How many guys do that in the dub? I don't. And I'm asking seriously. I don't know.
I think there was a rule of limited amount of players.
I know in Canada, like when Jeremy's dad talks about it a lot, like you're only allowed so many overagers and so many underagers.
Mm-hmm.
So
They have a highlight goal of his on here. Yes.
that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that crowd. That's a great crowd there too, man. That'll make a great USHL team.
I'll have to get some. Anyways, yeah. I don't know.
That's
Kinda went off the
crazy.
rails on this. Yeah, we kind of went off the rails here. Yeah.
But that's and you got some ACHA transfers. Looks like this. I'm gonna follow the site. It's actually got some good stuff on here.
Hockey House.
Yeah.
Oh, Hockey House is great. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. They do a good job.
We should
They've
get
got a
one of them.
podcast. Yeah, they got a podcast. They're good guys. We see them at definitely in the national tournament, and they kind of make the rounds a little bit. Yeah, they're good guys.
Yeah. But yeah, so typical John and Cookie off the rails on that one. However, that I'll be interrupted for news like that any day of the week.
What, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce getting engaged?
100% that. But also dub kids going to the ACHA D2. But he didn't play last year, so I'm curious about that. But yeah, so now Cookie's got it going into his season. So this is the time of year where Cookie and I, when we first started this, we're saying some episodes might be one or the other, one guy or the other, depending on what's going on and what we're having to do. But we'll definitely keep these going. We thank everybody who chimed into the live. We wish Cookie a good season. And it'd be awesome if Cookie can grab himself a national championship in ACHA. So it's not easy, but it's not impossible.
Made quarterfinals last year. Our goal is to beat that. So we'll see.
You made quarterfinals in your first year.
Our first year Division I made quarterfinals. Yeah, so we'll see.
So there's a lot to be said with that. I look forward to coming out there this year. Maybe I'll have to go live on podcast from your arena. And I'll just say all the things I've always wanted to say. I mean, I've only seen you guys coach together one other time when I mic'd you up a little bit that one time. I can't remember where you guys were, but I put mics on both of you guys somewhere.
I don't remember that at all.
But yeah, so I'll have to come down. Maybe I'll get you on the podcast while you're mic'd up, because this bad boy can do that.
I was telling Kleiner today, because he's been at practice actually all 3 days this week, and in fact, I might do it tonight. I'm trying to talk myself into it. Have you seen those little? They're not GoPros. The little cameras that are about that wide and they're tall. That they got the magnets you can stick behind. I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, I have those. They're Insta.
Well, no, it's not those. They're kind of a knockoff, I think.
Oh, okay.
Which is good, because what I'm going to use them for, if they get busted, I'm not going to be too upset about it.
I had one that I used. Yeah, I had one that I used in beer league one time, and there's this kid. I was just playing. When I play beer league, I play defense. I don't shoot the puck. I pass it. I'm just out there to get a skate. But I still want to compete on defense. I want to know I can still, like, fundamentals still work. I'm 46 and it still works on these young fast kids. And this guy got so mad at me. He came down, he shot the puck directly at my chest on purpose because it comes with a magnet thing and the camera was there. And he shot it there on purpose. He goes, "Oh, I guess your camera doesn't work anymore." And I'm like, he's also 18 years old. And I was like 44 at the time. I was like, I would love to beat your ass right now, but you're an 18-year-old, so I'm not going to do that. I am not winning in any landscape morale-wise in this. Like, if I beat up an 18-year-old, like, he's a grown man. He beat up an 18-year-old. If I lose the fight, he just got his ass kicked by an 18-year-old.
Exactly.
Either way, at the end of the day, it's like he tried to fight an 18-year-old. So
yeah. Exactly.
I was just like, good God, man. But yeah, it's just a little one. It's about that big.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm going to be working my way to get out there to Springy.
Yeah, it's fun
for
times.
all that. And then I have an idea I'm going to text you about, and we're going to start working on it, and I'm not going to say it on here. So,
all right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Let's all drop in the comments and wish Cookie a good season.
Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Well, we'll have another couple episodes before. Well, actually, not the next one, but the one after will come out the day of my first game of the year against the University of Central Oklahoma next Friday. Be fun, good times. Yep,
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Oh, maybe I can figure out how to stream it on live.
Well, it'd be nice to be able to figure out how to stream it at this point, because unfortunately, right now we're having a bit of a broadcast issue because none, and I mean none, of our broadcast people are in town next weekend. We're in a bit of a crisis right now, as if we didn't have enough.
Dude. I'm ready.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, definitely subscribe, and share. And if you're a family or a friend, welcome to the podcast.
If you're a family or friend, you're not here. We know that.
That's why I said welcome, because it's the first time you've freaking seen it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye, everybody. Where'd my stop button go?
When I got scared and I left without a warning. I'm so freaking sorry that I didn't stay. Didn't mean to run and throw it all away. Brain wishing, hoping that it's not too late.